Whatever British tried to do to finalize this particular border between India and Tibet resulted in, you all are aware, in the east, the McMahon line. So finally, there was some kind of a line on which we could say this rest of the border. In Ladakh sector, there were a number of lines, Johnson-Adarkar line, McCartney-MacDonald line, and these were all part of the great game. They kept shifting. But it's in the middle sector, there was no line. Why was it? It's my own hypothesis that in this particular sector, by nature, probably Britishers felt that they had a kind of a frontier which was recognized as both sides, because over here, constantly people were moving to and fro. So on independence, of course, the British left, and they had to leave one day, and it was for India actually to decide where our frontier is. So Nehru probably knew that we had something as a McMahon line in the east, we had some kind of a claim in Ladakh area, but it was not here. So that's why he wanted to go in for a Panchsheel agreement, probably. And for the Chinese also, it was because when they had kind of liberated, so-called liberated Tibet, they had moved into Lhasa, they had moved into Xinjiang. This particular area was extreme from both the ends, so they wanted a stability probably in this particular region. So this area assumed some kind of a priority. So independent India was keen to build good relationship with China, and once it gained independence in 1940, with China, once it was independent in 1949, it pursued neither its claims for enclaves and gave up the special privileges which had inherited from the British. I forgot to mention that British also, after the Young Husband expedition, because of this great game which was taking place, did inherit some privileges like keeping of armed escorts and trade agents, and in the middle sector they were at Ghatok. So once Tibet was occupied by China, so we gave up those privileges. We recognized China as for its permanent seat in United Nations, and this Himalayan buffer which was there between us and Tibet, that evaporated, and that would convert into a border. In 1954, India recognized Tibet as part of China. Both countries signed the Panchsheel agreement. With this, India assumed that it has settled its border, the northern border, the only area which we assumed that was not settled, through a formal kind of a treaty. For India, the legitimacy of this border now rested on the Panchsheel agreement, which it thought had been delimitated by identifying 6 passes through which trade would take place or pilgrims will go. That are Shipkila, Mana, Niti, Kangri Bangri, and Dharma and Lipuli. But the Chinese stand was that this agreement was negotiated only for trade, and it nowhere reflected the Chinese stand on the particular border dispute. So hence, this became a dispute, and as I said earlier, the controversy in the middle sector, the border dispute that existed between us and China, emerged first in the area of Palam Sumda, that was in 1950, much before the 1954 Panchsheel agreement, and in Barahoti immediately after signing of the Panchsheel agreement. So this underscores the sensitivity of this particular area, and the Ladakh and Sikkim and Nefa that time, that came in much later. So in fact, so it's not only 1950s, 1954, in 1959 again, when Chow En-lai wrote a letter about that Indian troops had intruded, he mentioned a large number of places, that is Chua Chuje, Shipkila, Parigas, Demchoks, Sungsha, that is Nelang and Jedang, Palam Sumda, Sangcha Malla, and Lapthal. Most of this actually lie in the middle sector and Himachal Pradesh.